Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today we are talking about potatoes. If you were anything like me growing up and into my early 20s, cooking was not my strong suit, but I do remember growing up my mom would make baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, and scalloped potatoes, which, sorry mom, were honestly not my favorite. Something about the texture of scalloped potatoes I just can't get over, which made me realize I've never actually cooked them myself. This got me thinking of different ways to make potatoes, so today I have for you 4 potato recipes, trying some new techniques, and one of them isn't scalloped potatoes. I just can't do it, guys, but if you have a good recipe, let me know and maybe I'll give them a try. But come along with me and let's get cooking. To start our recipes, we are going to wash our potatoes. Now, to save my breath and from repeating myself throughout, I'm going to say this once. Wash all your potatoes. Start off with our Taco Bell potatoes. In 2020, Taco Bell actually took this off their menu to simplify it. Now, we all know how people don't like change. I mean, just look how we reacted when they took the Mexican pizza away from us. So after some pushback, they added it back in March 2021. For these potatoes, we are going to need 5 pounds of golden potatoes, a half cup of oil, a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a half cup of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons paprika, 1 teaspoon cumin, 1 teaspoon onion powder, 1 teaspoon chili powder, 3 tablespoons of salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, a dash of cayenne pepper. We are going to start by boiling our whole potatoes in water for 20 minutes. While this is cooking, we are going to combine all the dry ingredients. Dice these up into 1-inch cubes. Be careful because they are still pretty warm at this point. Once you get all your potatoes diced, you just want to put them into a bowl. Now, I usually only use vegetable oil to fry with, but I couldn't in good faith use a half cup of avocado oil because that stuff is expensive. Now we are going to add in our flour and cornstarch mixture, followed by our seasonings. Now what I'm finding is that you really want to get your spoon to the bottom of the bowl because that's kind of where all of our oil went, and we want to make sure that we get that to combine all of the potatoes in. Divide the potatoes into 2 large greased baking sheets. You want to make sure that they have enough room and they're not overcrowded. So definitely use 2 baking sheets if you are making the full recipe of the 5 pounds of potatoes. We're going to bake these at 425 for 40 minutes, rotating the pans from top to bottom in between. Now, of course, take it from me, who often messes up on her recipes, as you've seen in my previous videos. Watch your cook time because all ovens vary. So I've just taken everything out of the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and try one up. So I realized that when it said flip from front to back, that probably didn't mean to move the tray from front to back. Blonde moment. Probably meant to rotate the potatoes, but they still turned out okay. I have just a little bit of browning on one side, but they are not bad. Let's go ahead and try them. They have just the right amount of crunch on the outside. They're nice and cooked on the inside. Go ahead and make mine up for lunch with a little bit of lime juice, cheese, and Taco Bell sauce because it is a Taco Bell potato. And then let's move on to the second recipe. Now let's get to smashing. Not to be confused with mashed potatoes, these are the potatoes to make at the end of a long day when you need to take out a little frustration. For this recipe, you will need 2 pounds of yellow potatoes, 1 tablespoon of oil, 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And no, you definitely do not have to do the calcium butter. This is the only butter that our Walmart had. 4 garlic cloves minced, a half a teaspoon of salt and pepper, 2 tablespoons grated parm, only the fanciest around here, and 1 tablespoon Italian seasoning, and 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley. Preheat your oven at 425. Place your little gold friends in a large pot of water, cover and cook for 15 to 20 minutes. Now, I did go ahead and divide my potatoes in between 2 baking sheets because I knew there was no way that I'm just going to be able to smash all of these and it fit onto one. So now I'm just going to kind of lay out as many as I can onto one and then see how it fits in. So I'm going to take my amazing blue cup I've got from an Instagram Live. If you ask my husband, our house is decorated like a 90-year-old woman. So I'm just going to put that on our potato and smash down. And then do that for all of them. It does take a little bit of pressure. I have had these sitting out for just a little bit. We're just going to continue that process for all of them. So funny enough, when I got done making these, Sheldon's granny came over and she actually thought they were cookies. The potatoes and the rest of the ingredients and generously pour over each potato. Cook for 25 minutes, and for storage, you're going to place this in a container up to 3 days in the fridge, and to reheat these, put in the oven and cover them with tin foil so they don't dry out. Here's your reminder to put tin foil on your shopping list because I do have an upcoming sheet pan recipe for you guys in the next week or so. Now hit the bell to get notified for when that video comes out. After 10 minutes at 425, I did go ahead and take mine out just to make sure that they weren't dry. I did see a couple comments saying that theirs dried out, but I think they are perfectly fine the way they are. I am going to put them back in for about 2 to 3 minutes on broil just to get a nice crunchy top. Now this is them after 3 minutes on a high broil. The only difference is just a little bit more crispy on the top. Now these turned out really good. I would definitely pair this with grilled chicken breast or a grilled pork chop. These are really, really good, and they are so versatile in the amount of things that you can pair them with. Now, these potato balls are a great recipe for the holidays that are coming up because, you know, it takes a while to cook your holiday food and you need something to snack on in between. So we're going to start with 4 cups of cold potatoes. Sheldon actually made these the other day. They were in my Sunday video with my cream cheese pork chops, so check that one out because those were amazing. And 8 slices of sliced bacon cooked, 1.5 cups of shredded cheese, 1 cup of flour, 2 eggs beaten. Poor eggs, why do they always have to get beaten? 1 cup of plain breadcrumbs and oil for frying. Combined, let's talk about the reheating process. An oven option, you're gonna heat your oven to 350, cook these for 15 minutes, and then up it to 400 for just a few more minutes. If you're gonna freeze them already cooked, you're just gonna place them on a baking sheet to freeze and then take them out, pop them into a 200-degree oven until they are reheated. For storage, you can store these up to 2 days in the fridge, but honestly, I don't think they're gonna last that long because they are so good. Just now, in this moment, I have decided to go in with a little bit of seasonings. This is just chili powder. Now, we aren't gonna add any salt because, of course, the potatoes already were seasoned with some garlic powder and salt, and then the cheese also has a lot of salt. This is not coming out, so there's not as much as you think. So just go in with a little bit more. Probably about a teaspoon or so, because that did not shake out very well. And then I am going to go in a little bit with the Hidden Valley Ranch, just to give it more of that potato taste that we like. All right. And we'll just combine it more. Once this is fully combined, we will be putting this back in the fridge to sit for an hour. So I let mine sit for a little bit longer than an hour. I just got an ice cream scoop and I'm just making these into round balls. Now, all of mine definitely weren't the same shape. I just tried to combine them as well as I could. Now on our tinfoil, we do have a little bit of the panko breadcrumbs just so that these won't stick to the tinfoil itself. Now to bread them, we're going to gently place them into our flour and then put them into our 2 eggs. I don't know how I felt about this mixture. I felt like the eggs really didn't coat that well, but then we're gonna move on to the panko. You just wanna make sure that you're very careful all the way through this process that the balls don't get smushed or anything. So just roll this around in your panko breadcrumbs and place it back onto your tinfoil. I just took this one out of the oil and I just wanted to show y'all, this is the second one that I've had that did kind of all come out. Now this is just mainly crust. It has a little bit of potato left in it, but it was just mainly crust. So keep an eye on that if that happens to you. And place these in the freezer until they are completely frozen, and then I will put them into a container. So they are definitely still hot, but they are crunchy on the outside and nice and soft on the inside, just like a mashed potato would be. They're really good. I definitely want to try them out again, maybe with like a different breading. I don't know if this was actually my favorite breading style, but I'll definitely be trying these ones out again. I do want to try this with adding some jalapeno on the inside and see how that turns out. So let me preface this recipe by saying it definitely did not end up the way it started. Let's go ahead and go through the ingredients and I'll let y'all know what happened. Our ingredients are 2 to 3 pounds of yellow potatoes, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 clove of garlic, 1 tablespoon of flour, 2 cups of heavy cream, salt and pepper to taste, and 1/4 cup of parsley, 2 cups of onion, 2 cups of carrots grated. Now I realize that I don't actually have like a handheld cheese grater. I have my KitchenAid, but that's about it. So what you wanted to do is grate your carrots. So I just went ahead and peeled them off. I'm just chopping them down to make them a little bit smaller and just making sure that I have 2 cups worth. To our heated saucepan, we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of olive oil and then 2 cloves garlic. I got this garlic press the other day at Target and I definitely like it way more than actually having to chop my own garlic, but I don't know if I fully understand how to use it. But we are just gonna cook down our garlic until it is fragrant and then add in our 2 cups of chopped onions. I cooked this down for about 5 minutes just until the onions are soft. Adding in our carrots and then just mixing this together until those carrots are cooked down. Going in with 1 tablespoon of flour, we're going to be making our roux. Now this is going to turn into almost a paste-like consistency. I'm just making sure that I'm stirring it and not letting anything sit to the bottom. Once that is combined, you're going to add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, and then you're going to constantly whisk this until it is brought to a low simmer. Now that it's at the gentle boil, you're just going to season it with salt and pepper. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit since we're not stirring anymore, and add back in our potatoes. We are going to leave this on the heat just because we are just going to stir and combine this and then just make sure that the potatoes are heated all the way through. So we are at the end of the original recipe, and unfortunately I'm not the biggest fan. I did realize that my potatoes were not cooked all the way through as I thought they were. So I have put in 1 more teaspoon of flour just to thicken it up a little bit more, and probably about a 1/2 cup to 1 full cup of heavy whipping cream. So now I just have it on a low heat. I've had the lid on it for quite some time now. I'm actually going to turn this into potato soup. So I wanted to show you all the reality of making these videos sometimes. The recipes don't always turn out the way that I planned. I'm just going to make sure that my potatoes are fully cooked, and then I'm going to mash them and add some cheese to it. Is it chunky? Yes, but I definitely don't want to add any more heavy whipping cream to it. So I am going to cook up a little bit of bacon and add the bacon and some of the grease, not the whole amount, just a little bit of the grease. Serve it with some cheddar cheese, and we have potato soup for the rest of the week for lunch. So talk about potato heaven. I hope you guys enjoyed all these recipes. As always, they will be down in the description, and let me know which one you're thinking about trying. If you need a main dish to serve your potatoes with, here is my latest video of my cream cheese pork chops. They are to die for. I have been making them for years and they are so easy. Now I will catch you in next Sunday's video. Bye!